Welcome to the Daily Decant, your 5-minute briefing on the world of wine. Each episode delivers practical insights to help you choose, order, and talk about wine with more confidence in everyday social settings. Let's get into today's decant. It's Friday, and today's episode covers two things that on the surface seem unrelated, but together tell us a lot about the Cape's wine identity. As a reminder, we've been in South Africa this week, diving into all the different regions and grapes. And today we are talking Pinotage, South Africa's own grape, and the genuinely controversial reputation it has spent decades trying to overcome. Second, Walker Bay, just down the coast, where an almost entirely different grape, Pinot Noir, is quietly achieving something extraordinary in one of the coolest wine-growing pockets in the entire country. So let's start with Pinotage, because the story behind it is genuinely interesting even before we get to the wine itself. In 1925, a professor of viticulture at Stellenbosch University named Abraham Isaac Perrault crossed Pinot Noir with Cinsault, a hardy, productive Rhone variety locally known at the time as Hermitage, which is where the name Pinotage comes from, combining Pinot and Hermitage. Perrault was looking to create a grape that combined Pinot Noir's quality potential with Cinsault's reliability and resistance to disease in South Africa's warmer growing conditions. The grape spent decades as a relatively minor curiosity before becoming more widely planted starting in the 1960s and 70s, eventually becoming something of a national symbol, the one grape variety South Africa could genuinely call its own. The reputation problem is real, and it's worth addressing directly rather than dancing around it. Poorly made Pinotage, particularly from certain producers in past decades, developed an unfortunate and genuinely off-putting characteristic. A smell often described as burnt rubber or paint thinner, caused by a compound called isobutyric acid, that can develop during fermentation, particularly when the grapes are picked too ripe or fermented carelessly. This flaw became so associated with the variety in some circles that Pinotage developed a reputation problem that has been difficult to shake, even as winemaking technique improved dramatically. Many international wine drinkers who tried a bad bottle decades ago wrote off the entire grape, and that impression has proven remarkably persistent. But the best modern Pinotage, made by careful, quality-focused producers, is a completely different wine from what gave the grape its bad name. Made with controlled fermentation temperatures, appropriate picking times, and thoughtful oak treatment, good Pinotage shows dark berry fruit, a distinctive smoky or earthy quality, sometimes a banana or tropical note from certain yeast strains, soft tannins, and genuine drinkability. Canning Cop, the Stellenbosch estate we discussed on Tuesday, makes what most critics consider the benchmark Pinotage. Their standard bottling, and especially their top-tier black label Pinotage, sourced from old bush vines on the slopes of the Simonsberg Mountain, show real depth, structure, and aging potential, completely disproving the lingering stereotype. Other producers making serious, well-crafted Pinotage worth seeking, Buyer's Kloof, widely available and an excellent introduction to the grape at a reasonable price, and Diemers Fontaine, known particularly for a distinctive coffee and chocolate character in their style. Now, Walker Bay, and specifically the Hemel-en-Aarde Valley, which translates poetically from Afrikaans to heaven on earth, this is currently South Africa's most exciting cool climate region, located near the coastal town of Hermanus, southeast of Cape Town. The valley is directly influenced by the cold Benguela Current, creating one of the coolest viticultural climates anywhere in South Africa, cool enough to support genuinely excellent Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, grapes that would simply fail to develop proper character in most of the country's warmer growing regions. The pioneering estate here is Hamilton Russell Vineyards, founded in 1975 by Tim Hamilton Russell, who deliberately searched for the most southerly viable wine-growing site in Africa, specifically to produce serious cool climate Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. Now run by his son Anthony, the estate farms shale-derived clay soils that have been identified through decades of careful research as optimal for expressing the valley's distinctive character. Their Pinot Noir consistently ranks among the finest produced anywhere in the New World, with a level of elegance, restraint, and genuine terroir expression that genuinely draws comparisons to good village-level Burgundy, at a fraction of Burgundy's price. Other than Hemel-en-Aarde, producers include Storm Wines, Restless River, and Ataraxia. The practical takeaway from today is that Pinotage deserves a second look from anyone who wrote it off years ago. Start with Canning Cop or Buyer's Kloof and judge it fresh. And if you love Burgundy but want something more accessible in price, Walker Bay Pinot Noir from Hamilton Russell is one of the most legitimate alternatives available anywhere in the New World. Together, Pinotage and Walker Bay Pinot Noir tell a story about South African wine identity that's worth holding on to. A country willing to claim and improve its own controversial creation while simultaneously proving it can match the world's best at an entirely different, more established grape. That kind of versatility, succeeding on its own terms and on the world's terms at once, is rare. Tomorrow, the complete practical buying guide for everything we've covered this week. You won't want to miss it. That's today's Daily Decant. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends so you can continue building your wine knowledge in just a few minutes a day. See you tomorrow for the next Decant.